Welcome to day. I don't even remember what day it is. I don't even remember what week it is. No, it's week 8. I remember that. Um, Feeling a little cozy and spirited and wearing braids and my computer glasses. I don't know why I told you all those details. I'm in a weird mood. If you couldn't tell, that song gave us a little clue about what we will be doing today for Writer's Workshop. Well, looks like I'm having an earthquake. It's not. We're talking about pictures. How exciting. You guys have done so much hard work on your essays. You've researched so many details. You have taken notes. You've synthesized information from readers. And we've thought a lot about the important details to your research. But there's another way we can collect details. We don't have to collect details just from reading text. We can collect details from, you guessed it, pictures. So we can do that by following this learning target. Writers include visuals, aka pictures, to bring their informational text to life. So first, we research photos, historical ads, posters, graphs, or diagrams that connect to your topic. 2, you think about the clues you can spot that may give you more information about your topic. And 3, add a caption to your graphic in order to help the reader understand. So that's what we're going to do today. Have some fun. You're done writing, unless you need to finish your drafts or do any revisions. There will be some time for revisions next week, but guys, we're almost done. And if you can't finish by next week, that's okay too. If you need more time, take your time. As long as it's done by the end of the school year, you're good. All right? But I'm excited to wrap up this project because you guys have been working so hard. So let's get to it. Okay, so here's the outline of my book. And I'm just going to use this outline to help me figure out what pictures that I might want to research and include in my informational text. Okay, so just doing it, I'm just going to quickly jot down the things I want to look up right here. So I think I would definitely like a picture of the discovery of gold. So maybe I'm just going to write chapter 1, and then I'm just going to write Sutter's Mill, because I think that could be a really cool photo that would add some information to my readers and really give a picture of what did it look like. For chapter 2, this is my people of the gold rush. This one I should probably, I ended up actually including a mini story. I think I did 2 in my teachings. I can't remember. I did one in a lesson, and which, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm gonna start all over. Okay, so I've pulled up my outline to help me kind of figure out which photos that I want to research to bring some life to my informational text. So I just have this here, and you'll notice in your independent work, what you should do is find at least 1 photo per chapter. Okay, so looking at chapter 1, I'm just gonna write a quick note here. And I think I would really like to have a picture that connects with the discovery of gold. So maybe I could have a photo of Sutter's Mill to really help my readers get a glimpse of what that looks like, and I could come up with a caption for that. For my chapter 2, this was my people about the gold rush. And in my video lesson, I did a mini story about my Chinese immigrants and miners. But in my small group lessons, I did a mini story about John Sutter. So remember, you only had to have 1 mini story, so I'm not requiring a picture for it. But I think for this one, even though you only have to do 1, I would really like to show a picture for all of them. So I am going to show a picture for John Sutter, maybe of a woman who started a business or restaurant. And then I'd like to give a picture of kind of what the Chinese immigrants and miners looked, because they had some different tools and dress based on their culture that was different than some of the more typical miners that we think of. But actually, as we know from our research, there was people from all over the world. It wasn't just like white settlers, and I want to give those different perspectives. And then chapter 3, this is my effects of the gold rush chapter. Since this is my mini essay, I think I might choose to try to find some sort of graph. Maybe I know like one of my reasons was about how the population grew. So I think that like showing a graph of like the population over time might be a good thing to research. So that's one idea. You might look, I know I saw pictures of like the environmental impact of like just showing like the valleys like totally excavated after the gold rush. So you could do that as well. And then I know like my chapter 4, I'm going to include some more photos. And if you didn't want to do this chapter, that's okay. But I just thought it'd be like kind of a fun thing to add to, and like, because there's lots of advertisements and posters. So I would want to look up like gold rush advertisements and see like what that looked like in newspapers, and some other pictures that maybe don't connect perfectly with my other chapters, but are important to the gold rush. Okay, so again, you can choose to have your own chapter dedicated to pictures, like ones that aren't related to your subtopics, or maybe you just have like these 3 chapters. And some of you may have even had more chapters of your own. So whatever works for you is fine with me. Okay, so I know a lot of you know how to do a quick Google image search because you've done it for other projects. So I'm just gonna very quickly go through this, and then if you need more help, you can reach out to an adult in your home or ask a teacher for some help as well. So I've got my things of what I want to look up, my pictures, and you don't have to create this list if you don't want to. It's just helpful for me. So I'm gonna quickly look up Chinese immigrants. And I want to be specific so I can see them popping up of different ideas, but I want to choose Gold Rush, California, because there were multiple gold rushes. So I like to, rather than clicking all these links and hunting, sometimes it's easier to search by Google Images. So I'm going to click on this first one, and a lot of times it'll show related images below. So I'm noticing that this one is a little dark and a little blurry. So I want to see if there's the same photo, but a little better quality. So this one looks a lot better. It's more clear. I like that I can look for clues in this photo and see the differences and similarities between the white settlers and the Chinese miners, and see like how did they dress, how were their hats different, what are things that are the same. I'm noticing they're working in the same site in this photo. So to be able to grab it, I like to click on the direct link that takes me where it was found. So I could do a couple things. I could either right click it and then click Save Image As, and it'll pop up on my screen there, and I can just click Slave, it's not slave, excuse me, click Save, and it'll go right to my computer. Or if that doesn't work, I can do, on a MacBook, I press Command-Shift-4, and you can see my arrow turn into this little compass-looking cursor, and I can click on the image and then drag my finger while holding the mouse pad down, and you'll hear a photo sound, and it just took a screenshot of my photo. So if I go to my desktop, which I can't do in my screen share right now, I'll be able to see those on my desktop, but you can see the download down there. Another way that students have figured out how to find images is directly on a Google Doc. So I have my Google Doc here. If I click Insert Image, I can just do Search the Web. And I can actually, you can see I've already done this a little bit earlier. You can type directly in here for what you would like to look up. So Sutter's Mill pops up and it shows you images from the web. And so if you're using Google Docs, this might be a great way to do it, because then once you click on an image that you want to include, you can click Insert, and then it drops right into your document. And then you'll just kind of have to play with the settings to decide on the size and if you want it to be in your text or around it, but I think you guys can figure that out. The last thing I just want to quickly show you is the should, would, could chart for today. So reminders, today and tomorrow, you should research and include at least 1 photo for each chapter of your book. So if you have 3 chapters, you should have at least 3 photos. one for each, and make sure it connects to your chapter or what your chapter is about. It doesn't have to be a photo. It could also be, down here it says it could be a poster, a historical advertisement, or maybe a graph or a diagram. So you have that choice. And then the could and the would are things you could do after. So the should is like you must do, this is the bare minimum. But if you wanted to do some more, you could find a picture for each subtopic, okay? So like my example was people of the gold rush. So I could look for a photo of John Sutter, but then also include a photo of women in the gold rush, and then use my photo for Chinese miners and immigrants. Because the more photos you add, more visual, it can be a little bit more exciting to engage in your book, but it's totally your choice. And then would, this is kind of like above and beyond, but could be also a really fun activity. Could you create your own graphic picture diagram for your informational book? So I've included some examples down here of graphs you could include, or maps, or timelines. So you guys can choose to include those things in your text. So I hope that was helpful. I hope you guys have a lot of fun and are able to be really creative in this section, because you guys have done so much hard work and research. And I know this was asking a lot of you during at-home learning. So I really want to applaud those of you who have been engaging in this project. You guys are great. See you next week for editing and cover and all that fun publishing stuff. Bye.